Japan has a persistent reputation for being expensive. Here's the thing though, Japan is as expensive as you make it. While there is no ceiling for how much you can spend, the floor is a lot lower than you might think.
We visited Japan twice with kids. Here are 7 ways we afford this amazing East Asia destination, and number 4, we use every day when we are in Japan.
First, look for a hotel or rental accommodation in nearby neighborhoods and outside of the main tourist areas. Japan's main cities, such as Tokyo and Osaka, have areas that are especially popular for tourists. These are great to visit and sightsee, but we prefer to sleep elsewhere.
Since Japanese cities have extensive and affordable public transportation, it's also not a big deal to have accommodation in a different part of the city and commute in for sightseeing and attractions. We often save money on accommodation by seeking out hotels or rentals in or near neighborhoods.
2. Skip taxis. Use public transportation and get around on foot. Taxis can be very spendy, and we minimize their use. In fact, during our 45-day trip to Japan, we used 1 taxi, and that was only because it was the middle of the night. We had a train snafu, having us needing to get from Haneda Airport to our hotel in Hatagaya.
Otherwise, when in Japan, we use public transportation. Since we stay near train stations, it's easy to use local trains to get wherever we need to go. We get ourselves and the children their own Suica cards. Not only are these set up for reduced children's fares, we can use them at many shops and even Japan's ubiquitous vending machines. Connor especially loved to use his to buy the occasional hot or cold tea. We use trains and buses every day when in Japan, and trams, such as Osaka's tram system. 3. Make high-end dining a low priority. A visit to Japan is synonymous with incredible dining. But eating well in Japan does not have to mean spending top yen. If there are particular restaurants or experiences you want to have, by all means, build those into your plans and into your budget. One of the best meals we had in Japan was in Tokyo, near Meiji Temple. We happened upon a small diner. A woman came out, showed us the menu, and helped us all sit together at the counter that ran along the window. Soon, we were admiring the generous helpings of steaming rice, shredded green cabbage, and luscious pork tonkatsu and tempura shrimp before us. 4. Excellent food is all around you. The tip that we use every day when we were visiting Japan, we have learned that it is easy to find affordable, regular food, often very close to our accommodation. We don't need influencer posts or fancy magazine articles to do it either. All we need to do is go out our front door. During our month in Osaka, we typically dine in the ramen shop near our rental, the udon place in a shopping center, not to mention the takoyaki okonomiyaki stall, and 2 bakeries, all within a few minutes of our accommodation. Our best dining recommendation is to explore. 5. Japan's ubiquitous convenience stores, or konbinis, offer simple meals and tasty snacks. When in the USA, we might get treats or snacks from a convenience store, but we typically wouldn't get a meal from one. In Japan, though, we can get meals that are balanced, affordable, and really tasty, even at 7-Eleven. Rice or noodles with meat, egg, and veggies? No worries. And the person behind the counter will heat it up for you. Konbinis are also an excellent stop for snacks and drinks. When on the go, we usually pick up a few snacks for later. And while we mostly drink tap water from our refillable water bottles, we're happy to snag a hot or cold beverage from a konbini as a simple treat to brighten up the day. Okay, 6.
Many amazing attractions are free or have a low cost. And while you can shell out some impressive spend on certain themed cafes or other experiences, you don't have to.
In Osaka, for example, the Free Sewerage Museum kept our kids engaged for hours with well-designed, interactive exhibits and fascinating, approachable insights into the engineering and science that underlies the city's infrastructure, literally in the case of a giant water catchment system underneath a local park. Wandering among the gentle deer in nearby Nara Park is also free, though you can spend a couple of $100 for packs of crackers that you can feed to the deer. Parks and temples are abundant and often free to enter.
7. Save your yen for the Japan travel priorities that deserve your precious travel budget. We save money and conserve our spending, in part so that when we want to or need to splash out, we can, without reservation. Being frugal yet flourishing with our family travel budget in Japan frees us up to take advantage of things that are priorities to us and that simply do require more cost.
For our family, that's Tokyo Disney. During our 45 days in Japan, we visited Tokyo Disneyland once and Tokyo Disney Sea twice. Saving in other parts of our travels helped us have Tokyo Disney adventures that have become some of our favorite family memories from being in Japan. And we know that when we next visit Japan, we will be visiting Tokyo Disney again.
Is that a promise? Bonus tip 8. The JR Pass probably isn't worth it. In 2023, we saw some of the biggest changes in price increases for the JR Pass in some of the country's train system. Depending on your trip, it could be worth a look, but its value is no longer a given.
During our first trip to Japan in 2011, we barely got decent value out of our JR Pass. During our second trip in 2023 with 2 kids, we didn't get one. A JR Pass can come in handy if you are moving fast. But if you're not, odds are you'll get more out of your transit budget by getting one-off train tickets or comparing trains to flights and ferries instead.
Visiting Japan can be much less expensive than you imagine. There's no limit on how much money you could spend. However, there are lots of ways to have an amazing trip for much less.
We save money, yet still have amazing food, lodging, experiences, and ways to get around. Our family has found that we can then be free to spend money on experiences that matter to us and that happen to cost more. If budget worries have been holding you back from visiting Japan, fear not. You can have the trip you want, based on the budget that works for you, or a trip of a lifetime that you will always cherish.